It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Power Rankings Tuesday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. Love those dudes. Love all of you. Absolutely, especially love those of you that go the extra mile. If you're a loyal listener, you know the deal. You spread the word via social media. This week, all I'm looking for is an Instagram like. How easy is that? At Ross Tucker Pod, Instagram like. Just like any of the posts on Instagram, and boom, you can be the spread the word winner. I've got so many amazing press passes. It's not even funny. If you prefer a card or a picture, we can do that too. Sponsor confirmation email winner. Uncommon Goods is cool. Masterworks. There's a button. The Game Time app is incredible. Already looking at that. Maybe try to get to the World Series. I don't know. And then the YouTube shout out, I really like doing for you guys, right? Like I like that I can do that for you. It's cool. A lot of you listen to the show for years, get a chance to see me doing a video talking about whoever you want me to talk about. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. Speaking of shout outs, every day we have a new patron, they get a new shout out. John Dewey. Congratulations, John. Patreon.com/RT Media. That's where you see the even money bets in black and white. It's where you see a lot of things, quite frankly. The press box food, the power rankings, which we're doing today. Encourage you to check that out over at patreon.com/RT Media. Make sure that you become a member at the Tuckheads level so you can become part of our private Slack channel and be part of our little community there that I love and interact with every day. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
So much for your lock of the week last week. Jeez. Monday Night Football. Bears scored 23 unanswered to upset the Patriots 33-14, excuse me.
Yeah, thanks, Bri. I'd almost forgotten about that for about 10 seconds, that was my survivor pick. I think there's like 200 some people in the survivor pool, and there was 12 coming into this weekend. And I know several people picked the Bucks because they had the biggest spread. Hey, you know what? This is why I love the sport, because you got to come to play. You got to prepare all week, and you got to be ready to go, or your butt is going to lose. And that's what happened to the Patriots. What's especially, that was about as entertaining of a 33-14 game between two teams with losing records now I think I've ever seen. Bears got off to a great start. They're up 10-0. They're running the rock with their two-headed monster of Herbert and Montgomery, looking pretty darn good. Fields' arm was making good throws, but the real thing is Fields' legs. The Bears finally realized the design quarterback runs make a huge difference in the game, and Fields is crazy fast and athletic, and using his legs when he scrambles, which he did a number of times, as well as when he was able to do the design quarterback runs, had a huge difference in the game. What's wild, though, Patriots went 3-and-out twice with Mac Jones as quarterback. Then Mac Jones throws a terrible interception, to Jaquan Brisker, the rookie from Penn State, one of several young guys for the Bears playing very well, by the way, in the red zone. And it's funny because Adam Schefter said right before the game, don't be surprised to see both. Well, then Mac Jones threw that interception. And even, by the way, Mac Jones is moving around well on that ankle. Like it looked like his ankle was totally fine. And Bailey Zappi promptly comes in and throws and gets them down for 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown was really actually a bad throw to Jacoby Myers, but he had a nice read earlier in the drive to Ramondre Stevenson. Next thing you know, it's 10-7 Bears. Then Zappe comes out. Great throw and catch down the sideline to Devontae Parker. 14-10 Patriots. And I was thinking, oh boy, Bears are in trouble now. I think I even joked on Twitter at Ross Tucker NFL that I just live bet the kids' college fund at DraftKings Sportsbook on the Patriots. I didn't, by the way. It's a joke just because the momentum they had at that point. So much credit goes to the Bears. I mean, that was crazy impressive. They settled down. They answered with an awesome drive. Fields' arm and legs. Fields made some clutch throws. His legs were a big factor. They got another touchdown on a perfect play call, the Khalil Herbert screen pass on a blitz by the Patriots at 17-14 Bears. Then Jacoby Myers fumbles on like a jet sweep. Bears get another field goal, 20-14 at halftime. What I was not expecting is for the Bears to totally, utterly dominate the second half. I mean, they had 3 more scoring drives in the second half, 2 more field goal drives, a touchdown drive. The Patriots did nothing, absolutely nothing. Zappe threw a couple interceptions. Another one was to Kyler Gordon, the other rookie defensive back for the Bears. A crazy impressive win for the Chicago Bears. Kudos to Bears fans. Boy, you wonder if that's one they build on. And for the Patriots, yikes. All the momentum they had going up my power rankings just got hit in reverse. Speaking of yikes, that's what I think when I hear about people. I was just talking with someone yesterday that does not have a home security system. I can't even imagine. There's a reason why Simply Safe was just named the best home security of 2022 by U.S. News. U.S. News and World Report loves it. I love it. You'll love it. There's nothing more important than your family's safety. And I take it a step higher, actually. It's peace of mind. And I guess if you've never had one, you don't realize the peace of mind that it gives you. But once you guys get one, I'm just telling you right now, you'll be like, I can't believe we didn't do this earlier. It costs under $1 a day. It's less than half the cost of ADT's traditional professional installed plans. Do not miss the chance to save big when you protect your home with the best. Get 40% off your order when you visit simplysafe.com/Tucker today. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes. That's simplysafe.com/Tucker. Go today. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
It's time for the all-important Power Rankings. The worst team in the history of the NFL is...
This week, number 32, the Houston Texans.
Tell you what, the Detroit Lions are trying to take this spot back over. They really are. The Detroit Lions are trying to get back to the bottom. It's like they weren't comfortable moving up in my rankings and they want to go down. The Texans aren't good. We all recognize this. I will say this, though. They've got some good young players. Jalen Petrie, Stingley on defense, Dameon Pierce. I don't know if Davis Mills is the guy. I thought he did some positive things on Sunday, but they're not a good team, unfortunately, for them.
Number 31, the aforementioned Lions.
Kind of sad. Dan Campbell and I were teammates in Dallas together. I think he's an awesome guy. I guess I kind of root for former players when they become coaches, especially if I know them and I like them as people. I used to talk to him a lot when I was doing an NFL game on the radio every Sunday, a lot of times with Bry. Anytime I did a game, he was coaching Miami, wherever, New Orleans, I would talk to him. Awesome guy. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this turned around. I don't know if they're going to give him a third year.
Number 30, the Carolina Panthers.
They moved up 2 spots. Listen, they looked pretty darn good. I mean, they smoked Tom Brady and the Bucks, crushed them. And so I got to give them their flowers for doing that. They ran the ball well. They played good defense. Kudos to the Panthers. Maybe they're moving up.
Number 29, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Their defense settled in and played very well Sunday night, actually. They just really struggle offensively. Now they play the Eagles in the Battle of Pennsylvania. I'll actually be there. I got to do the pregame show in person for an hour, and then I'm going to tailgate and go to the game. Looking forward to it. In fact, let me just check real quick what the tickets are on my Game Time app. Steelers, I think, will end up being okay this year as long as their defense plays that way. I think Pickett and the offense will be a little bit better. I'm looking right now, $279 it still is for Steelers Eagles on the Game Time app. Is that more than the World Series? Oh no. Wow. Right now, World Series Game 1 is almost $1,000. And this is the guaranteed lowest price. That's amazing. $993. Boy, catch the fever in Philly right now. At least with Game Time, you can see the view from your seat in the app, and checkout takes less than 30 seconds. Download the Game Time app like I obviously have because I read off the ticket prices every day here on the show. Create an account and redeem code Ross for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's Ross for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. You get $20 off that price.
Number 28, the Washington Commanders.
They only moved up one spot, but that was a spunky, sparky win for them against the Pack. They got a chance to move up the ranks again. I think they play the Colts this week with Ellinger as the quarterback. We'll get to that a little bit later. But, Heineke provided a spark. I don't know that they win that game with Carson Wentz. And Heineke's a heck of a lot cheaper.
Number 27, the Jags.
This is surprising to me. I thought they'd be better. I thought they'd be higher. I was expecting them to have a better year than this. There's still a lot of football to be played. We need to remember that. But I wonder, that it felt like they were going to have some momentum, and it's like they lost it, and they're the Jags again.
26, the Denver Broncos.
Wasn't expecting them to be this bad. The thing is they're really pretty darn good on defense. They really are. They have been totally let down by the offensive side of the ball. It's like, why'd they even fire Vic Fangio? I mean, they come in and now you're deep. They look exactly the way they did with Vic Fangio. Bringing in Hackett, the offensive coach, and Russell Wilson hasn't helped at all.
Number 25, the Browns.
Thought the Browns had a chance to really stay in this thing until Deshaun Watson got back from suspension. Doesn't look like that's really going to be the case. I mean, they are a 2-win team. Hard to be a 2-win team and make the playoffs. So they're going to have to go on a run here, probably before Watson even gets back.
24, Saints.
So the Saints, they're in a really bad space. Joe Dolan talked about this on the critically acclaimed Fantasy Feast podcast last week, but they've got injuries. They've got cap issues. They traded a lot of their future draft picks. This is kind of how the end looks at times. We'll see if they can get turned around this year. Still plenty of football to be played, but when a team gets in this position where you've got bad contracts, injured guys, no draft picks, this is when teams start to at least think about a rebuild.
Number 23, the Arizona Cardinals.
Nice win over the Saints. Now, that probably doesn't happen without the back-to-back pick sixes, which was random, somewhat random. But they did look better offensively. They did move the ball better offensively with Kyler Murray. I think getting DeAndre Hopkins back was big. So that's a positive.
22, the Chicago Bears.
How about the Bears, man? I just moved them up a bunch of spots. That was pretty impressive. Both sides of the ball. They deserve it. I think I'm going to assume that having designed quarterback runs for Justin Fields wasn't a one-time thing, and that the Bears recognize that that is now their best chance for success. I think I tweeted last night at Ross Tucker NFL, they need to run a Ravens style offense, especially with the receivers they have right now. Ravens style offense, bunch of designed runs.
21, the LA Rams.
Well, they had a bye, so not much to say about the Rams other than they are interestingly in the running back market both ways. They tried to get a guy like Christian McCaffrey, but they're also trying to trade Cam Akers.
Number 20, with a new quarterback under center, the Colts.
Yeah, how about that? Wow. I could talk about that even more tomorrow, but the Colts are benching Matt Ryan. Now, he's got a second-degree shoulder sprain, but Frank Reich made it clear that, at least what he's saying now, is that Sam Ehlinger is the quarterback for the rest of the year for the Colts. And I can tell you exactly what this is. This is desperate times, call for desperate measures. Frank Reich knows he needs to make the playoffs or he'll lose his job. And I think he also knows his best chance might be to have a young quarterback to show Jim Irsay that there's something worth building around here in Indy. That was a really bad loss for them against the Titans on a lot of different levels.
Number 19, the Green Bay Packers.
Can't remember many times when the Packers were this low. Interestingly, they just lost and blew a lead to the Commanders, and I didn't drop them lower. They were already 19 last week.
Number 18, the Falcons.
Disappointing performance by them, especially on defense. I thought they'd show a little bit better against the Bengals, but the Bengals are in a good way right now. Bengals are kind of on fire.
Number 17, Seattle Seahawks.
The Seahawks, Bri, they might be a team to buy some stock in right now. The way they're playing, all the young players they have right now. In fact, I'm going to make the Seahawks my team of the week. Brought to you by Symbol, the stock market for sports. Download the Symbol mobile app and use promo code ROSS for a free stock valued at up to $150. Never thought I'd be saying this, but they do have salary cap space. They do have a lot of draft picks, and they do have a lot of young players playing well. The Seahawks are my team of the week, brought to you by Symbol.
Number 16, the San Francisco 49ers.
Not quite sure what to make of them. I think because of the division they're in, they'll be in this thing till the end. And really, it's interesting. Like NFC South, NFC West, those divisions are still very much up for grabs. And so the fact that the Bucks and the Niners aren't playing very well right now, they're both 3-4, doesn't really matter that much, right? I mean, what matters is that they play well enough to win their division. They're down divisions right now, and they're playing well in January when the season ends, when they make the playoffs by winning their crappy divisions and have momentum going into January football.
Number 15, the Los Angeles Chargers.
San Diego Superchargers. San Diego Chargers. Chargers are one of those teams. They are like the Jets to me, that they just can't have nice things. J.C. Jackson done for the year with the torn patella tendon. Really, really bad injury. Pro Football Doc was on it right away. Sports Injury Central. Make sure you're following those guys, because after there's an injury, they post something. You click on it. You find out what the injury is before anybody else. And you get the SIC score for these bets or fantasy or whatever. But same thing with the Jets. I mean, the Jets lose Elijah Vera Tucker for the year with the torn tricep. They lose Breece Hall for the year, torn ACL. I'm convinced some of these teams just can't have nice things. Now, listen, they still shouldn't have gotten waxed, they being the Chargers at home by the Seahawks, but they lost the battle and they're losing the war.
Number 14, Patriots.
Very interesting to see what happens with the Patriots the rest of the year, especially at the quarterback position. You know, Belichick's not like other people. He likes when you're uncomfortable. He thinks it's healthy for you to be wondering about your job security, and thinks that those nerves compel you to work harder, to press harder. So I don't know. He might keep this going with the two quarterbacks for a few weeks.
Number 13, the Las Vegas Raiders.
They're starting to show some real ability here. You know, it's a shame that they got off to such a bad start, because I think they've got a pretty decent team and they're getting better and better. They've got a bunch of weapons. The O-line's playing better with their O-line coach, Carm Brasillo. They're running the ball very well with Jacobs. Raiders are going to be a force. They're not going to win the division. That's going to be the Chiefs, but they're going to be a force down the stretch here.
Number 12, Tampa Bay Bucks.
They're lucky they're 12. I don't know. I guess I could put them lower, but am I going to put them lower than the Raiders, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Niners? There's not a lot of good teams, is basically what it comes down to. I still think the Bucks win that division, which isn't saying much, but that division's horrific.
Number 11, the Tennessee Titans.
And I'd be very surprised if they don't win their division. You know, they started off the year bad. They don't have A.J. Brown because they traded him. But the rest of their division, Texans are the worst team. Jags are bad. And the Colts are kind of a mess. Titans are going to win that division again by default.
Number 10, the New York Jets.
How about that, man? The Jets, a top 10 team. Unfortunately, this is as high as they're going to go. They're going to start to go the other way. You can't lose guys like Breece Hall, difference-making player. Vera Tucker, probably their best offensive lineman. It's a shame, but the Jets are going to start to struggle.
Number 9, the Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, number 9. Much, much better, obviously, with Tua out there offensively. They did well on defense, although they're kind of lucky that the Steelers dropped a lot of those interceptions that Tua threw right in their hands. Be curious to see how the Dolphins play moving forward. Talked about this yesterday, but Tua cannot take some of the shots he still is taking.
Number 8, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Starting to hit their stride again. Starting to look real good on the offensive side of the ball again. Burrow to Chase. And that division race, it is huge that the Ravens won that Sunday night game I called a couple weeks ago, because that division race, I think, is going to be tight between the Ravens and the Bengals. And that head-to-head win for the Ravens means a lot.
Speaking of the Ravens, they are number 7.
They're not playing as well as I thought they would. They're not feeling like a real threat right now to the Bills and the Chiefs. They're kind of feeling like a second-tier team. And that's really both sides of the ball. I mean, they were better on defense on Sunday, but not as good on offense. There's just something that feels like it's not quite right with the Ravens. Feels like it's missing.
Number 6, Dallas Cowboys.
Boy, I did not think that there would be 3 NFC East teams in the top 6, but there are, and they deserve it. They're playing that well. The Cowboys' defense is really, really good. They're leaning on the run game on offense, which is healthy, and they're one of the best teams in football. Yeah.
Number 5, the New York Giants.
So the stat where all 7 of their games have been one-score games is pretty wild. I do think there's something to believing you're going to win in those situations as opposed to hoping. And with Dayball and with the way they've been on a roll this year, the Giants obviously clearly believe they're going to win those games, and they have. I think that'll even out a little bit, and they'll lose a couple of those. But even the fact that they're in all those games and that they're winning more than their fair share is a great sign moving forward.
Number 4, Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings, they had a bye, so not really that much to say about them other than they didn't lose.
Number 3, Kansas City Chiefs.
It's interesting. The top 5 is the exact same as last week, and the top 4, 3 of them had byes. Chiefs didn't. They smoked the Niners in a very, very impressive win for the Chiefs.
Number 2, Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills, when I think Buffalo, I think about my days there as a player. I think about delicious Labatt Blue Light. The whole table at the Big Tree Inn would be Labatt Blue Light bottles. Football season means it's Labatt Blue Light season. There's no better way to watch your team, doesn't have to be the Bills, on game day than with the pristine Canadian goodness of a cold Labatt Blue Light in hand. Stock up and be the MVP of your tailgate and share a Labatt on game day with your crew. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer. Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York.
Russ's number 1 team, which is totally meaningless, but it's fun and will get many of you incredibly annoyed, is
the Philadelphia Eagles.
I don't think it gets many people annoyed. They're undefeated. They've been undefeated for a while. I don't know. Who would it get annoyed? Bills fans? Maybe Chiefs fans? Not really. They know that they'll have a chance to maybe play the Eagles in the Super Bowl if the Eagles get there. Eagles play Steelers, Battle of Pennsylvania this week. I already told you guys about that. We'll see for any of these teams, Eagles, Bills, and Vikings, if the bye kind of lost their momentum, if they're rusty coming out of the bye. You never know. What I do know is I love giving shout-outs to Pizza Boy Brewing, Sporticulture, HumanHeadNYC.com, SteakhouseSports.com, Go-Bengals.com, Evergreen Economics, Vision Comics with an X, BackOfficeScheduler.com, and we're just about November. Before you spend stupid money on a stupid gift, go to myfrontpagestory.com and have a story written specifically about a loved one in your life, a parent, a spouse, a child. They will love it. A colleague, myfrontpagestory.com. It's an Even Money Tuesday. College draft was fun yesterday with Emory. Check it out. Fantasy Feast tomorrow. I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.